Welcome back. Still tuned in to News and Views right here on Salaamedia. Thank you so much for staying with us. It's been a pleasure. As I mentioned in the first hour of the show, we're going to be wrapping up with the hashtag Loftus5 court case. This was happening at the Pretoria Magistrate Court this past week. It's been a really, really interesting court case. It's been one that has shown the solidarity of South Africans towards Palestine, and most importantly has shown that there are still people that call the shots in this country, especially when it comes to protesting and solidarity and how they feel about Palestine, and most importantly, the negative influence they're willing to show to kind of flex their muscle. So yeah, if you missed that showdown, if you missed that court case and everything and anything that has to do with it, we have some exclusive scenes and voices that came out of the Loftus5 Pretoria court case happening at the Pretoria Magistrate Court. It was a really, really insightful, interesting one, and Salaamedia has had extensive coverage of it. So yeah, we're going to leave you with that. Keep tuned to Salaamedia for more interviews, for more stories that matter, and for everything and anything that you need to know pertaining the world around you. My name is Salaamedia, and for myself and the rest of the team, it's goodbye.
Present with me right now is Salim Hulzuk, who was present at Loftus Versveld when the incident had taken place. Salim, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam, viewers.
Yes. Salim, while we are waiting for to be called in and for this matter to be heard, as far as a bail hearing is concerned, now we've heard so many versions of what had taken place. There is the official version, that has come through from police in terms of their press release as well. We've seen many statements being issued by many solidarity organizations. We've seen the PSC, we've seen SA Justice, we've seen a number of organizations that they issued, but you physically there at that point in time. Just take us through very quickly in terms of some of the events.
Assalamu alaikum. What has apparently happened, we were at the grounds watching the game peacefully until halftime. So we chanted the slogans, free, free Palestine, nothing more, and we brought about our banner out there. We brought our banner out, one of the security officers took the banners away. So we asked him, why are you taking the banners? We will lay a large charge against you. He said, no, we can't do it, it's a private property, which we didn't even know. And there was no incident, there was no sweating of the cops. It was a very peaceful demonstration. It wasn't actually a demonstration, we were seated. That's about all. And then in a few minutes, we've seen the riot squad surrounding all of us.
Yes, but also I think let's just take a step back. So you mentioned until the point of the first half, there was no issue.
No
you people were allowed in. I see you wearing the red card Israel t-shirt. You walked in with a t-shirt. There were no objections at that point in time.
No objection. And then there were ladies and young kids on the ground as well.
Right. Now, just take us through because I'm led to believe that it was first the stadium security that made the approach before the cops came in.
Yes.
Okay. What did stadium security do?
Stadium security, I asked him, I went to ask for a banner. He said, I need my banner. I need a banner back. He tells me, you'll have to collect it some other time. He didn't tell me exactly when. So I even told him this much, that you will be charged for taking the banner away because you could not authority to take the banner. So he took the banner, it goes away. And within 5 minutes, riot squad comes and surrounds us. They put the cordon of our area, they put us into a few branches, and I asked the women folk and the youngsters, please leave the stadium because there is some problem here. Which they did. They did go out. And they asked the people to take out the t-shirts. Some refused. Like me, I was about arrested, and I told them, you can't arrest me for what? On what grounds? So that's why I was not arrested, but that's about it.
Okay, so you're saying that you were concerned about the safety of the women and the children.
Exactly.
And then they had gone out, okay?
Yes.
And when you people were taken out of the stadium, were you removed by force or did you go out on your own free will?
Then the riot squads were removed by force. We were manhandled, we were pushed around, we were pepper sprayed. Some kids as old as 12 and 13 years old were also pepper sprayed. Women were pepper sprayed. We were pepper sprayed. Without any warning for us to leave the ground, there was no warning at all.
Right. Now, from the police report that I've seen, obviously they've said that there were a number of issues that they've raised. One was GBH, which is grievous bodily harm, and then there were talk about damage to property, assault of the police, of theft as well. Did you see any of that?
What exactly happened? There was a small scuffle between the police and two of our spectators. And they were manhandling him. So a scuffle became just maybe a punch, which can happen, you know, I haven't seen it. Just a punch, and then the police went, manhandled us, chased us, threw us out of the grounds, racing, running after us to arrest us, and we got away. Some of us got away, some were arrested. There was no interference with the spectators to the police.
Okay.
We never touched the police. They just manhandled us. Believe me, they manhandled us. We were not aggressive. Okay. In fact, they were aggressive. They didn't even give us a warning to say that, you know what, leave the ground. They asked us to remove our t-shirts, which they got many of our t-shirts. We don't understand why they take our t-shirts.
Well, let's just see. It's going to be quite interesting to see what pans out when the bail hearing actually takes place, and in terms of the prosecution and what sort of case obviously they can actually come up with, because we are led to believe that the charge sheet has arrived. The docket is still here as well. Just in terms of an outcome, I mean, what are you hoping for? Because I know that there are many concerns with regard to stadium security. They are concerned with regard to thefts as well, police brutality, and then also against the likes of the South African Football Association, SAFA as well, stadium management. So, you know, all these players somewhat, you know, are involved at some point in time. And I think this is going to be absolutely important. But I think the most critical question is going to be what triggered off stadium security to approach you when there was no problem whatsoever.
You know, I don't know must I say this in air, because when I asked the security officer, give back my banner, his answer was, you will see what happens. Now I don't understand what he meant, we'll see what happens. So from my understanding, it's like it was planned, pre-planned. I'm saying it on the South African TV today, it was pre-planned. They came in within 5 minutes, the riot squad was there. And the manhandled us, took our tear gas children, which we got clips of on. Ladies were chased out. Ladies were told to take off the skippers, which I'm wearing now, which was very, very unfair. It was very peaceful. It wasn't even a demonstration. It was a few chants. We were seated in our chairs. Not that we got up and, you know, go wild in a crowd. Nothing like that. Believe me.
Well, Salim, let's just see what happens when we get into court today. But Jazakallah for
inshallah,
that.
There's no, I can't see any case coming up there, because on our side, we're very peaceful. As the clip shows, we're peaceful. There may be a scuffle here and there. That's about it.
We have some young people, some students that have came out in support of the Loftus 5. And standing with me now is Nida. Nida, thank you so much for chatting to us. Why was it so important as a young person, you know, to be here today? You could have been in class, you could have been studying, but you chose to be present to show your support.
So I was at the stadium that day, and the guy that got arrested, his brother is also part of the MSA campus community. So we're very close like that. So we came to support them.
As the youth, as young people, why is it so important to be involved in politics, to be involved in solidarity? Because most people think, you know, young people are apolitical. You know, they don't want to be involved in politics. You just want to focus on your studies and just enjoy life. But you guys showed the effort to be present here today, in a court case, which is very, very important and has very wide implications, with regards to Palestine solidarity here in South Africa.
It's important for us as the young population to also be part of this, because it shouldn't be only the older generation. We should also support. And by looking at us, we can motivate the younger generation also to take part in these things, because we want to support what's right and we stand against genocide.
And if you have a message for other young people who are out there who are feeling, you know, not too sure about whether or not they should be showing up to support such important causes, what would you say to them?
So I would say you should not be scared, because you're doing what's right. So there's no need to be scared, and in the end, what's right comes to light. It wins. So, and there'll always be people that will support you. So you're not alone in this.
One of the big moments that we have been waiting for, and standing right next to me, And we know he's made headlines right across the length and breadth of South Africa. None other than Imtiaz Daniel, the 16-year-old, 17-year-old, correct, thanks for correcting me, but who was obviously taken into protective custody as well. And as we announced earlier with breaking news that Imtiaz was released without bail, and just wonderful that he is able to come out and join us as we await the bail hearing for the other 4 accused that will take place a little later on. But Imtiaz, Assalamu alaikum, really so wonderful, and it's nice to see that you are actually smiling.
I'm just happy to be free at least.
Yes, you know, for a young 16-year-old really to go through what you have at this point in time, just take us through some of the emotions. And I know at that point in time, you know, it was quite heated on the day as well, but really take us through what it actually happened.
From the time I got arrested till now. So, it's just been very emotional for me as a young boy, seeing my father and brother with me in the cell. There's a very hard impact on me. And I'm just happy to be in support of my father and brother and whoever else. Just happy to be here.
Yes. Yeah. You know, in fact, now that you mentioned your father and your brother, and I knew about your father, I wasn't aware that, your brother was as well. So basically, it's 3 of you from the same family. Same. And I'm sure, while you were in protective custody, I'm not too sure what the conditions were like as well. Maybe if you could just share some of that with us.
Well, firstly, my dad was injured and he was denied healthcare. We kept asking. My father was in pain. They never acknowledged us, and we even requested to go to the bathroom, and that was also denied. So it was very harsh. The way we were handled, we were pepper sprayed, tear gas, we were treated very badly, and this is a severe case of police brutality, and I really hope they suffer the consequences of their actions, and the world knows what they did.
Well, we can understand the trauma that you actually had gone through, especially for a young 17-year-old like yourself. And I'm sure in your wildest of dreams, you never ever expected to be treated like this. Just mentally, how strong are you right now? And how did it actually make you feel mentally when you were taken into protective custody, away from your family, away from your parents?
When I got sent to the juvenile center, I was just sad. I just wanted to see my family. I requested a phone call, and at least I got that. And it's just been so hard on me. I couldn't imagine it happening to me, but we are now.
Well, I'm glad you're here. And in fact, I think, many of us were elated when we got the news this morning that you were released and you were without bail, obviously, as well. Just take us through some of those events this morning, what had actually taken place before you were released.
Well, I got picked up by a detective, a very nice detective, and we spoke about how I was treated, and he also agreed with me on the bad conditions. And I got to the court. Everyone was very nice to me, and I was granted bail. The social worker was good to me, everyone.
When you're saying agreed bad conditions, what were the conditions like?
Conditions, he agreed that there were good cops and bad cops in the world, and it's sad to say that there are many bad cops in this world.
Yes, I'm sure you're now eager to actually get into court to see your father. I'm sure you haven't seen them for a few days as well. And as you mentioned that your father needed some medical treatment as well. So I'm sure you are deeply concerned at this point in time in terms of the welfare of your father.
I just want my family to be free. That's all. Yes. I just want to be reunited with them.
Okay, but just as a person, and I see you wearing the Red Card Israel shirt once again. Just as a person, what has this done to you? Has it made you a lot more stronger?
I'm glad that I was in support of Palestine and that I was helping protect my father. That's all. I don't regret it at all.
Well, actually, that says a lot, for Palestine and protecting your father. And that says a lot about you as a son. Just give, a message out. And I know there are many, many people that are going to actually view this little discussion that we are having. What sort of message are you going to be sending out there?
Support Palestine regardless of what people think. Smile through everything. Just don't ever give up on supporting Palestine. Until they're free, support them.
And sitting with me now is the defense of the Loftus Four. I have Abdullah and Yasmin. Abdullah, let me start with you. What's the latest right now? We just come out of court. To our viewers who want to know what happened, what's the latest regarding this one? What can you tell us?
So we can start with the good news. In short, the Loftus Four are free to go on bail. Alhamdulillah. It was a long drawn fight. From all the way on Sunday when our officers heard of them being arrested, to myself and my colleague Abdurrahim Sirat, going to the cells at 1 a.m, taking the statements, and again on Monday coming here, hearing that it was postponed. To our utmost horror, it was postponed. We wanted to, on Tuesday morning or afternoon, go to the High Court on an urgent application. But through different avenues of calls and, all of those things, alhamdulillah, we got our people to be requisitioned for today. And as you heard from the gallery outside, that is my reaction as well. Alhamdulillah, 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 everyone is out. We all out, and the way going forward now is that on the 18th of June, it's postponed to the 18th of June for further investigations. So we'll see going forward how things play out, but we're very confident in that our accused are not guilty of any of the charges that are placed before them. What they're guilty of is supporting Palestine, something that our South African government also supports. There's pictures of our President Cyril Ramaphosa wearing Palestinian attire. We went to the ICJ. We fought long and hard for the Palestinian cause. So it's quite a grievous to the international community that this incident happened.
Yasmin, let me come to you. What are the charges that the Loftus Four are charged with, and most importantly, is there a case? I think that's what everyone wants to know.
Okay, so they've been charged for on a few charges. They've been charged with public violence, malicious damage to property, and resisting arrest. So when we look at those charges, public violence and resisting arrest, these incidents are not in keeping with what actually played out at the stadium. I mean, we had people wearing T-shirts, the simple act of wearing T-shirts. They wore their T-shirts indicating that that Israel must be red-carded from sporting activities. So simply that act of wearing the T-shirts was what created all of this furor, because the police then entered the stadium and demanded people remove their T-shirts. So that act was contrary to everything that government has spoken about in support of Israel. The government itself went, as Abdullah has indicated, went to the International Court of Justice and say we're supporting Palestine. And the spectators did exactly that. All they did was wear the T-shirts, and otherwise they were simply supporting the game, And what is wonderful is that in our age of modern technology and social media, all of that is recorded. What they were doing and how they carried themselves out in the stadium is recorded on social media, and we've got extensive footage, fortunately, that have come in, a number of videos that have come in from members of the public, indicating that we took pictures of what was going on, and the incident was there was no live protesting, there was no disturbance, and it was simply spectators who were encouraging Bafana to play well. So we are going to wait for the police docket to see if there's anything anything to the charges. We don't believe there's anything to the charges. I think the police were overly excited. We are quite disappointed that in a match of this magnitude, it was an AFCON qualifier, that SAFA allowed for something like this to happen. It is embarrassing for our government. It is not in keeping with our constitution, because clearly we've said this over and over again. We enjoy the benefit of freedom of expression in our country, guaranteed in terms of Section 16 of the Constitution. These people were wearing their T-shirts, and I must recall that even though it was just these 4 or 5 people that were arrested, about 150 spectators were forced out of that stadium just for wearing T-shirts. And this is not in keeping with our modern democracy or any of the laws that prevail over how matters should be dealt with. Most notably, a young minor, 17-year-old minor, was also arrested and kept in custody, also in flagrant disregard of the Child Justice Act and how minors is supposed to be dealt with in court. So our rights of recourse against all the relevant players, we will discuss with our clients now that they are going to be out of custody. We are happy with the outcome. The court awarded an amount that was even, more insignificant than we contemplated. The court ordered an amount of 1,000 rands per person. This is clearly an indication when the court gives an amount of bail in that amount of what the state believes the strength of the case against the accused are. Because it will generally be, like you've seen in other matters, if the state has a very strong case against someone, they're going to set bail for much higher amounts. And the fact that they've not opposed bail, the magistrate recorded that these accused were not a threat to society. That should have been what the police ought to have asked on the day that they were arrested. Are they a threat? Should we arrest them? As the prosecutor indicated, it's a Schedule 1 offence. It was not an offence that police could not have granted bail right on the spot for. And the entire arrest, we believe, was unnecessary. We do not believe there's merits even in the prosecution. What we plan to do now going forward is the matter is postponed to the 18th of June for further investigation. That means the police are still conducting the investigation. At some point, maybe after about 2 or 3 postponements, that's the indulgence the court will give to the state. When the docket is finalized, they will hand the docket over to the defense. When we get that docket, we will then study the docket and establish whether there's any merit in the complaints made. We will then be making representations to the National Prosecuting Authority to indicate, do you really want to proceed with this? Because these are the pitfalls we see in the state's case. And we think that the representation route is probably going to work because, government has openly announced its stance on Palestine and it can't deviate from that. So that's the route going forward shortly over the next few months. But we will keep the public up to speed as to what is going on.
A lot of jubilations, there's a lot of excitement because the Loftus 5 is out. There's going to be a proceeding of the case on the 18th of July. And standing with me right now is, I think, a story that stands out from this story. There was a young man, Imtiaz Daniels, standing with his mother. He was incarcerated also. How were you feeling? You have your husband, you have your 2 sons who were taken away by the police, spent so much time in incarceration. How do you take it as a mother and as a wife also?
In this moment now, we feel very much relieved and grateful, and it's just an overwhelming feeling. Words fail me at this moment, so we'll just get through this part of it, but it's nice to have them back. Tonight I'm going to be saying, prisoners come for supper.
Just take us back to that moment where you got that call that your son, has been taken away by the police, and your husband also. I'm sure it was a really tough emotional time for you.
It did come as a shock because, from my understanding, they were going for a peaceful event. We didn't expect them to be disruptive, and we knew that something wasn't adding up. But as the story unfolds, over time, we'll get some sort of justice, and at least now we've got a chance to raise awareness. There's even more awareness for Palestine.
Let's talk about the support that you have received. How was that? How was the support? How was other family members and just the community at large? How have they been with you during this difficult time?
There's been a lot of support. It was a stressful time for me, but many organizations have been there too. The PSA was at my house, Al Jamaa. Our lawyers, our advocates, they were anytime that we needed to ask anything, they were there. So we had a lot of support. So we'd just like to thank everyone who was part of the experience, even people who just offered their prayers. Even that, most powerful.
What message would you send to other mothers, other wives, who have, their children who are part and parcel of the struggle of the people of Palestine, who might feel, a bit scared after this ordeal, or some were even scared before it even happened? They're like, you're going to get hurt, you're going to get injured. You've been through it, you've got out of it alive. What message do you have?
I don't think that we should allow one incident to allow us to keep our voices down. We need to raise our voices even more for Palestine and keep going.
And a message to the mothers in Palestine?
You are always in our prayers and our thoughts. We stand with you always.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free leftist fight! Free leftist fight! Free leftist fight! Free leftist fight! Free
Shira, how are you feeling?
Grateful.
You feeling good? You look good?
Guys, can we just move here quickly? 2 minutes just to thank our
Mohammed is here. Mohammed.
Okay. Can we just move here? Can we just move there quickly on the pavement and have a 2-3 minutes just to thank everyone for being part of Yes. Likewise, you started it. Yes. Yeah. Guys, can we just go there quickly? 2 minutes.
Let's go where we went before. Yeah, okay.
Yes. Guys, can we go there on the pavement?
Firstly, I'd like to start off by saying thank you to each and every person that's here present today. I know I speak for everyone when I say we've had overwhelming support. Thanks to Al Jamaa, thanks to Communist Party, thanks to Pop Crew, thanks to every single person here, our attorneys. I know it's been absolutely amazing, the support and the love that we've received. And I'd like everyone to know, going forward, free Palestine.
Free Palestine. Yes. Alhamdulillah, all praise is due to Allah, the most merciful, who grants ease after hardship. By His mercy and divine will, the bail application has been successfully granted, and we have our children standing next to us. We extend our sincere thanks to our legal team for their tireless efforts, dedication and professionalism. May Allah reward you generously. To our beloved family, friends and everyone who supported us with their prayers, time and encouragement, your support has been a source of strength and we are truly grateful. A quote from Surah Al-Talaq, and whoever relies upon Allah, then He is sufficient for him. As we give thanks for this moment of relief, our hearts remain with the oppressed around the world. We dedicate our du'as and continued support to our brothers and sisters in Palestine. May Allah Ta'ala grant them freedom, justice and peace. May Allah continue to guide and protect and uplift us all.
Amanla.
Where to?
Free.
Palestine.
Free.
Palestine.
Palestine. Thank you everyone that came out here today in support. We're really grateful to everyone. Over the last few days we've heard across many from the SACP, from Pop Crew, from Africa for Palestine, from Al Jamaa, from many of the other political parties, SACP and other solidarity groups for supporting us for the bigger cause. My parents, my family members, all those that I consider as my family members for sticking with us. But I think this is only the start. We need to reignite activism because we got a lot of battles on our hands. It can't be that we cannot express our expression in solidarity with the Palestinians in today's time in South Africa. So we are not free until Palestine is free. Yes. So we must continue and let's get stronger until Palestine is free. Yes. Thank you.